market trends in crypto that you cannot afford to ignore. I am still talking about Bitcoin because it is still the driver of this market. Even though when Bitcoin breaks its all-time highs and starts a new bull cycle, its influence on the crypto markets kind of slip as we're seeing Bitcoin dominance falling right now. Some of these smaller pullbacks or dips from Bitcoin may not or not affect the altcoins as much or at all. Like we're seeing right now, it's not really affecting the altcoins right now as much as we would see in consolidation patterns or bear markets, right? But still very much important to be paying attention to Bitcoin because the bigger dips would most likely affect the altcoins, and especially, of course, at the peak of the bull cycle. That is why I'm still tracking Bitcoin, in addition to me still longing Bitcoin and quite a bit of these altcoins across the board. So we're still going to be staying on this topic of Bitcoin, but of course we're going to be talking about some altcoins later in this video as well. I know that's what you guys are here for. We're going to be talking about DEGEN, the altcoin. We're going to be talking about Stronghold, SHX, and Ankr Network token. See what has gone on in these markets since the last time I've talked about them. Now, if you guys want me to do any other altcoins, make a request down in the comment section below. I will pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis. Now, let's get into some major crypto news or market news first before diving into the charts, which is going to be later in this video. All right, first piece of news here is going to be by Crypto Potato, which is saying Bitcoin and XRP hit fresh milestones as altcoins take off. Your weekly crypto recap. Yeah, I mean, we have seen XRP do some pretty amazing pumps this past week, and I am seeing Total 3, the chart, which I pointed out to you guys, actually having a new breakout here. Let's just take a look at that chart real quick. I'll show you guys again. Okay, this is what I'm talking about here. Daily time frame on the Total 3 charts broke out of this cup and handle just a couple days ago, right? The resistance was at about 960 billion. Now, price target for this cup and handle breakout would be about almost 1.2 trillion, which would still be pretty significant, especially for some of these smaller altcoins here. That I really don't think has gone too crazy yet. Okay. Next piece here is going to be also by Crypto Potato. Bitcoin price analysis. Is Bitcoin due for a reset before its next breakout? I don't think so. I mean, I've seen some headlines that call for Bitcoin dipping back down to 110K. I mean, even though I think it's a possibility, I think it's a very low chance at the moment because we still have quite a bit of moving averages coming up to the price action that could be support, including the daily 21 moving average, which is a very important moving average, especially during fresh trends. We also have the hourly 200 SMA, which Bitcoin has actually just touched down on, as well as the 12-hour 21 SMA that has yet to be touched since this breakout here. All right, next piece is going to be by News BTC. Doge price prediction. Expect 60% liftoff if this channel breaks, analyst says. Yeah, I covered Doge. I think yesterday or a couple of days ago. I do see a pretty big target for Doge. If you guys do want to see more about Doge, make sure to check out my video. I think I saw a falling wedge pattern breakout there. Not exactly a channel, but a falling wedge. All right, next piece here is going to be by Today Q News. Crypto markets near $4 trillion as XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum lead surge. Yeah, so we are seeing the bigger altcoins take off first. And in my opinion, the next batch of takeoffs will be on the smaller altcoins. As we see on the total 3 charts, right? I think the money is going to be trickling down to the smaller altcoins. But of course, this is just my opinion and speculations, and none of which what I'm saying here is financial advice, and you should do your own due diligence. But that's what I think here. Next piece here is going to be by News BTC. Bitcoin eyes 123K explosion. Traders brace for breakout. So this is going to be interesting. Let's go to the Bitcoin chart here, and I will show you guys what this headline might very well be talking about. So Bitcoin broke out of that 110K level not too long ago. It has stalled at that 123K mark here, right here. This is the hourly time frame for Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin has more room to run, that's going to be very good for the altcoins as well. That tells me that altcoins are going to have more room to run as well. So you want to be cheering for Bitcoin even though you are trading altcoins. I always have the Bitcoin chart in the back of my head as the number one factor before trading altcoins, okay? Because it could still have some major effects. Now, this is what the headline is talking about. 123K. Okay, I still see a rounded bottom here, and when I see rounded bottoms, that could very well turn into cup and handles, which are usually bullish. Okay, if you guys are new to this trading game, definitely get to know those patterns, right? So 123K here, I still see rounded bottoms. Bitcoin is at the hourly 200 SMA, which is the orange line here, currently at about 118K. If this still rounds, right, this could very well turn to a cup and handle here. And however, if Bitcoin continues going down, the next key support I'll be looking at will be the 12-hour 21 SMA, which is the blue line here, currently at about 117K, right? Now, what is a moving average? Okay, if you guys might ask, if you guys are new, if a moving average is above the price action, that's going to be resistance, where traders are likely to take profits or short sellers come in. If moving averages are below the price action, it's going to be acting as support, where traders are likely to open positions, right? At least that's my mentality, and that's how I usually do it. So let's go ahead and go to what else? The weekly time frame here. Weekly time frame. There's 145K price target still very much valid. Okay, this is what kickstart the bull cycle here. So this is still a beautiful chart. So this is basically what I'm seeing. Let's go to altcoins. Okay, we're gonna be taking a look into DEGEN first. This is a smaller altcoin, and it's ranking probably below 400. Let's take a look into crypto bubbles here and see what DEGEN is right now. Okay, it's about 400. Okay, market cap almost $100 million. So it's not the smallest uh, altcoins out there, but it is smaller. Okay, so it's definitely coming with some risk, right? But it's going to be more volatile than your XRPs, Ethereum, right? So while there is more upside potential, there's also more risk, just so you guys know. Now, DGen here. What has happened since the last time I've talked about it? Okay, not really much has happened, to be honest. But I think it's update worthy because, like I said, DGen has broken out of this falling wedge pattern. That's probably more noticeable on a smaller time frame. Price targets. Price targets are estimates only. There could be more, there could be less. Very much depends on the type of market we're in. And right now, I think we're still in a very bullish market. Okay, so from my own observations, I do see quite a bit of altcoin targets getting smashed, right, and just continues going. But that is just based on previous observations. It's not indicative of what this might do, right? It could be doing something different, right? What I usually do when price action reaches a price target, if it does, and if it consolidates there, I would chart the consolidation pattern and see if I can get any more clues on if the market will continue going up or will it be pulling back from there, at least in the short term. Okay, so DGen broke out of this pattern not too long ago. It is basically at the daily 200 SMA that is resistance right now because that's moving average above the price action. Currently at about 0.46 cents. As you guys can see, it's getting rejected here. This is the daily time frame. Let's zoom in closer and see if I can get any more clues on what this price action could be doing. This is the 4-hour time frame, rising wedge pattern. Rising wedge patterns are usually bearish. We do have a break down here, just as of the last 4-hour candle. Okay. Now, breakdown target for DGen here is going to be about 0.36 cents. Okay. Breakdown. That's an estimate. There's quite a bit of support underneath DGen. Would DGen get to that breakdown target? Okay. Something to be keeping an eye out on, especially if you guys are trading on a shorter time frame. Now, some of these trading patterns, a lot of these trading patterns, you can actually get to know more in detail. Let me show you guys how. Okay, I think that's very important to actually identify these patterns and know what they mean. Okay, because I didn't make this shit up, right? Rising wedge pattern. This is Grok, and this is on Twitter. I find it to be a lot more convenient than using ChatGPT or Google, right? I do like the presentation, right? And what it's saying here, it's gonna be very convenient, guys, for you guys to learn technical analysis, especially if I identify these patterns to you guys, and you can just look it up and learn these for yourself. This is a game changer comparing to what I used to have to go through to learn technical analysis, which was 5 years ago, right? Where I actually have to dig into Google links and actually extract useful information and filter out useless information. And based on what I'm seeing here, let's just read some of this together. A rising wedge pattern is a technical chart pattern used in financial markets to predict potential reversals or continuation. It's typically considered a bearish pattern when it appears in an uptrend, though it can also act as a continuation pattern in a downtrend. Below is a concise explanation. So far what I'm reading here is accurate. Okay, you guys can read more into it. Of course, you guys want to be a little bit critical with everything you read and hear, right? So I mean, what I'm seeing so far is accurate. And that's going to make it very easy and convenient to learn technical analysis. Just, if you guys hear terms that I'm throwing out and you guys want to clarify it, ask Grok, right? And if you guys aren't following me on Twitter or X, make sure to follow me. Now let's go ahead and go to the next coin here, which is Stronghold, and see what's going on in SHX. Let's take a look right here. Okay, SHX, still a rounded bottom on this weekly time frame. Rounded bottoms are important because I usually see rounded bottoms develop into cup and handles. This one is not developed yet, but if it actually comes back up to about 2.1 cents, this resistance here on this weekly time frame, as you guys can see, it last got rejected at 2.1 cents. Then it could form a cup and handle. This is still a hypothetical situation, right? So let's take a look into a smaller time frame and see what Stronghold could be doing. Stronghold broke out of this falling wedge pattern, also a very important pattern you guys should be knowing. It's probably the most common pattern on these charts here because it tells you after an extensive downtrend that price action is likely to break out to the upside. In this case, it did. Price target is going to be about 1.6 cents price target. Stronghold broke out, right? went as far as about 1.5 cents, about there. Let's see if it can actually reach that price target and continue going, or will it actually be pulling back from here and see what's going on next. It's very important to continuously chart the patterns. I continuously refresh my charts whenever I am free. I would say I chart these patterns probably 3 or 4 times a day at least. Okay, so very important to be charting, especially if you guys want to be trading in the long run. That is, my mentality. I plan to do this in the long run, right? I've already been doing it for over 5+ years, and I love it. Now, daily time frame, SHX hit about 1.5 cents. Okay, it is forming. We have a top validated trend line here. Okay, we definitely want to see SHX break above this trend line. Otherwise, it could form a rising wedge pattern. That is a possibility. It is not formed yet, but if it doesn't break that upper trend line there, you could probably expect it to come down to the bottom trend line to retest it, and that's not going to be good because that's going to be forming a rising wedge pattern. Something to be keeping an eye out on. Let's take a look into a smaller time frame, see if I can get any more clues on what could be happening with Stronghold. I don't see a particular pattern here on this on a smaller time frame. So if you are a bull, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are, you guys definitely want to see this break out of this upper trend line, at least in the short term, right? All right, let's take a look into Ankr, see what's going on with Ankr Network token. Talked about this with you guys not too long ago. Ankr token, weekly time frame. Huge falling wedge pattern. Has been in this falling wedge pattern for a long time, okay, since April last year, okay. Price target, if it breaks out, would be about 10.5 cents price target if it breaks out by this point. Now, definitely want to consider the downside of these patterns as well, because even though these patterns usually break to the upside, there is still a chance it breaks to the downside, just a smaller chance, okay? And just because it breaks out does not mean that you're gonna 100% get to that price target, okay? It's gonna be a constant monitoring process, charting it to see if you can get any clues on if it will continue going towards this price target or more, or will it could flop, right? I've seen that as well through my years of trading. So very important. Nothing in this market is 100%. It's all about probabilities. Now, daily time frame. Let's zoom in. Ankr Network, very close to that bottom trend line of that huge falling wedge pattern. Got quite a bit of way to go if it wants to break out of it. Falling wedge pattern. I talked about this with you guys last time. Ankr broke out. Price target is about 1.9 cents price target. Ankr's basically almost there, right? And let's zoom in even further. This is the 4-hour time frame. Rising wedge pattern for Ankr. Breakdown target is going to be about 1.6 cents breakdown target if it breaks down by this point. Quite a bit of moving averages where this market could bounce off of, especially on a smaller time frame. So let's see what Ankr does. Now, I've seen price action breaking out of these bearish patterns as well, even with a smaller chance, right? Because these bearish patterns, these rising wedges tend to break down, right? Higher probability of breaking down, but a smaller chance that it could actually break to the upside as well, and that would be very bullish for that to happen, okay? Now, this wraps it up for this video for these altcoins. If you guys want to continue seeing more of these altcoins, make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe, letting me know, and I'll see you guys on the next one.